Hey everybody, this is Casey Maxwell with Art of Divine Touch and the Muse Effect for the day. I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everybody that is out there watching this. Whether it's now or a couple years from now, this video is being made on January 1st of 2019. So Happy New Year to everybody. This video is going to be about the fear around astral projection. I have gotten a lot of questions, and I know there's a lot of hype out there on the internet from different beliefs, different religious views, and from other people's personal experiences about why this is something that is so fearful, or specifically with people who have experienced darker entities, or what we would call demons, or lower vibrational energies, or the struggle or the fear of being stuck and not coming back into your body. I'm going to try to keep this simple and sweet, so I hope that you find it insightful, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments below or send me a personal message, and I will be open to discussing it with you, but also will be inspired to make more videos around those questions in the near future. So let's get right to it. The biggest thing that I have found with people experiencing fear around astral projection is seeing demons, or seeing shadow people, or experiencing sleep paralysis, which I have also experienced, and you can find in some of my earlier videos around astral projection on my playlist and my channel. My personal experiences with these things happened at a pretty young age, with seeing demons and entities, and that was without consciously choosing to project. And it is common that a lot of people that do believe in this type of work have already had these types of experiences at a young age, or having them now, or are really already pretty open-minded to what it means to explore and to experience the spiritual side of ourselves and the spirit realm attached to us and to this planet and this plane of existence. I found that the biggest thing to be aware of is that you are astral projecting whether you know it or not. And I think that it should be said that it is important to be aware of that so you can have more control of it, whether you choose to consciously project or not. Similar to what I have said in other videos around people's experiences, as an analogy, people's experiences with black magic. Say you have thoughts or feelings around a specific person, whether it is intentional or not. When projecting these negative thoughts towards people, this is a subconscious form of black magic. It does affect you, and it does affect the other people, whether you are holding a ceremony or purposely using the power of your word to curse somebody or to put a hex on someone. All of these things affect people regardless, and can be considered a form of what we would call quote-unquote black magic. So similar to that, astral projection is subconscious and conscious experience. The basis of coming together to discuss this in this video is to really bring body-soul awareness. We are physical entities and we are spiritual entities, and our physical bodies do not last. I believe in some cases they are meant to, but we have not evolved enough yet to that capability of our physical bodies lasting longer than what our lifespans as humans are now. But with that being said, it is important to be aware of the fact that you are not just a physical entity, you are a spiritual entity. And as children, and the innocence of our age, when most people do experience forms of paranormal things, they see spirits, or they're very empathetic or sensitive, or they have really heightened dreams. And a lot of that spiritual involvement within ourselves and within the spiritual world around us and in this plane of existence is conditioned out of us over a period of time. Where we find it most common that these types of things are not conditioned are where families nurture the child's experiences, their stories, the things that are happening to them, things that are being thought or felt, or things that they remember per se from other lives, from other past life experiences. And with Native cultures, there are multiple Native cultures all over the world that still believe and support the body-soul oneness, where they're accepting of this gift as physical life and this experience, but very much aware of the spiritual body and the involvement of what it means to experiencing it in a good and bad way, the same way we experience things in a good and bad way in physical reality. Another perspective to have in the sense of embodying and embracing this body-soul oneness and not having fear, other than becoming aware that you are consciously astral projecting while you're awake and not knowing it, definitely while you're sleeping, and whether you choose to go into a meditative trance and explore the spirit realm and the energy within and outside of your body alone. There are people that do good and bad in the physical world. There are people that, for example, are sneaky. There's people that aren't afraid to, say, stalk someone or push their boundaries with someone. And this in the physical world is a negative thing. But also in the spiritual world, it's a negative thing. So if you're going to consciously astral project and to involve yourself in the spiritual realm and become aware of that environment that is a part of you, and a part of the reality that we live in, you need to have respect for people. You can do good works in physical reality, in spiritual reality, the same way that you can do not so good works and have negative intentions towards people. So I really emphasize the warning there with whether you're working in physical realm or spiritual realm, there is good and there is bad. There's a balance to all things. But I feel that it would be much more a positive interaction to embrace body-soul oneness instead of denying what you are made up of and who you are and the world that you live in, by taking more control of your experiences, by being aware of the spiritual interaction. And whether you choose to intentionally astral project or not, at least being aware of that you have conscious thought, and your conscious thought projects into the world around you and manifests anything and creates anything. So whether you're seeing demons in real life or you're astral projecting and you're seeing demons in astral projection, there are these entities, just that there are good ones, just like angels and fae beings, fairies, other types of light creatures, as you would say. There is a wide spectrum of life outside of this reality in spiritual realm and in other planes of existence and in the galaxy, in our solar system, and other universes. There is so much more to this one simple life that we are living here. And we are so caught up in the mundane world around us and the stressors of surviving that we forget the importance of being in balance with our spiritual body and the rest of existence. And the rest of existence is large, very broad, very expansive. Another key point I want to talk about is in relation to body-soul oneness and having the understanding of the differentiates between good and bad in physical and spiritual reality is people that do harm to other people, whether it's a rapist or a murderer. There are people in the world that are being afflicted by negative entities without actually ever setting the intention to, per se, astral project and then become possessed, or the many different theories that people have posed to me in this way about the fear of possession, but how people are afflicted by things and they have attachments to them, or they have things in their soul that were never worked through, or they are simply just bad spirits reborn into this physical world and do bad things and take control of it in a way that it affects our physical reality. If we were more aware of, in tuned with that spiritual reality that is a part of our soul essence and the world that we live in and the world around us, we would have a more conscious choice and action to say prayers, to hold ceremony, to worship with one another, to do things that brings balance and order back to the world that we live in. It would help planet Earth. It would help the physical reality that we are creating to be a better place. It wouldn't be just fighting for justice in a physical reality. It would be fighting overall for justice in a spiritual reality where there can be a cleansing, there can be a purification, there can be a heightened sense of belonging and oneness and compassion to the world, where we are saving souls. We're not damning souls by giving up on them, by not wanting to do the spiritual work or the emotional work that helps people. Which comes down to another thing that I wanted to talk about, the emotional body. People are worried in their conscious astral projection that the fear that they're feeling, the anxiousness that they're feeling, or the depression that they have been experiencing in life is holding them back or leaving them open and unprotected, unguarded from being possessed by these entities. And while it is very factual that possession is possible with or without conscious projection, it is important to release any fear that you have around that whatsoever. And with knowing that fear is something that feeds these entities, this darkness, I think that another important factor is to really feel inside of yourself the deep inner work that needs to take place to bring about the sense of peace in what you're doing. It's about intention, and it's about the power of your word. There is a lot of proactive things that you can be doing in the spiritual world that reflects in the physical world, that you could do in the physical world that reflects in the spiritual world. Now, I found that it's common as a psychic medium in my own personal experience that most human spirits or entities that get, per se, stuck on the in-between space on the other side is because there were trauma that had taken place. Their emotional body was so afflicted from guilt or shame or pain that they're not able to release it even then on the other side. There is like a class, so to speak, that needs to take place, a step that needs to take place where ancestors and guides and guardians and angels and beings of light that care and love for your soul, your well-being, and the general well-being of all creation to come in and to support people and entities on that journey, on that soul sojourn. So in that aspect of astral projection consciously, you don't only come across dark entities, you come across beautiful creatures, beautiful light beings, ancestors, loved ones, spirits on the other side. There's a whole spiritual world happening outside of this physical world, and there's a balance I think that it is important to find. I don't place judgment on religions or beliefs that have a negative persona around this work, but I also feel that by them not being aware of the subconscious projection that happens outside of people choosing to do this work consciously can affect others in a negative way by the judgment that is placed and by the fear that is still being projected to do this type of work. It is keeping us out of balance. And to believe in body, soul, oneness, and to find balance within yourself as the whole creation that you are is so very important to take initiative. Whether you're choosing to consciously astral project or not, you are saying prayer, you are using the power of your word, you are integrating with people in a way of kindness and compassion and nurturance. You are doing what would be called light working or white magic, not black magic, but because you're being consciously aware about your actions, how you vocalize, how you communicate, how you interact with yourself and the world around you is what you're creating overall. And I think that's the most important thing here. Outside of fear of astral projection, it's the awareness that you are doing these things without choosing to do these things. And if you become aware of it without even consciously choosing to do it, you're still interacting with yourself and what is your highest good for others because you are conscious, you are awake, and you are able to make a conscious decision about the betterment of yourself and the betterment of humanity and the world around you. If you have more details or insight or questions about this, I know that it can be a lot of information to take in. Like I said in the beginning of the video, please feel free to reach out. I am at a lovely park sitting here with a lot of life happening around me, dogs, babies, families, river, and sports, and a lot of nature. And I feel really blessed to be sitting here and able to be in a open and public space making a video about something that I'm very passionate about helping guide people through in their personal journey, and to bring this energy from this space to you into this video. So thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you find any of these things interesting or helpful, and I'll continue to share my own personal experiences and continue to go more in depth with how to embrace yourself consciously and to get through the stuckness in your own emotional body and the fear that comes with embracing the soul side of yourself.